Welcome to step number 2 of the 4 steps on how to flip your first property. This is fun, how to fund your first deal. In this step, we'll discuss the different terms and costs you will need to know. We'll discuss how to create a buying appointment folder, how to do a pre-evaluation drive-by. We'll discuss the different financing options, how to find private money lenders, how to complete a private money credibility packet, hard money requirements, how to complete a financing request template, how to suggest seller owning financing. I will explain subject to financing, and I will also explain due on sale clause and self-directed IRA, both pros and cons. I will also further explain wraparound mortgage and how to write and make successful offers. I'll also show you how to find out problems and how to handle objections correctly. And last, we will go over and dissect a standard real estate contract. Now let's begin. Here are some terms that you will need to know. You will need to know financing costs. You need to know the first mortgage and private money costs. Also, a second mortgage and private money costs. You also need to know the borrowed rehab money costs, as well as the property value and pricing. You need to know what an ARV is. That is what the house will be worth when fixed up. You'll need to know what a current as-is value. That is what is the house is worth in current condition and state. You'll need to know what the estimated repair cost is. That is what the estimated cost of improvements will be made. You'll need to know the purchase price. That is what I believe I need to offer on a house to make money. You will also need to know your holding cost. That is your property tax, which is the tax rate on the property. You need to know how long you own the property from purchase to rehab to sell. Your holding cost. That is the property taxes, which equals the tax rate on the property. Also in the holding cost is the insurance cost, which is the utility cost and the miscellaneous holding cost. That is also the buying transaction cost and the escrow attorney fees, as well as the title search, selling transaction costs, and the escrow attorney fees. This is also the selling record, realtor, marketing, staging, transfer, and conveyance, as well as the home warranty. Now this is how you create a buying appointment folder. Remember, you must always stay organized. You will need your purchase and sale agreement. Always bring backup. Also, bring an additional creative contract. For example, owner financing, subject to options, authorization to release information for mortgage company. You also want to bring a property disclosure. Also, an authorization to release information to the bank. Also have in your toolbox your affidavit of purchase and sale agreement, as well as leave with seller your credibility packet. This is how you do a pre-evaluation drive-by. 1, you want to have closed comps, which is the comparables nearby. 2, you need to have the pending sales. 3, your active listing. And 4, your subject to property. A buying appointment. For 1, you need to take control of all asking questions. 2, establish rapport on common ground. 3, build company value and credibility. And 4, isolate and uncover seller's motivation. Financing. You need to use OPM, which is other people's money. Number 1, growth capital. 2, transitional capital. And 3, operational capital. Private money. Anytime you lend money and it is secured by real estate funds, which equals purchase price and renovation costs, lender receives at closing, mortgage on home and promissory note. Example, the purchase price is $150,000. The ARV is $250,000. The rehab is $25,000. The private lender at 70% of $250,000 is $175,000. For 1, the promissory note is all details of amount, interest, timeline, and term. It is in which you will be paid back. 2 is a copy of lender's mortgage trust deed. That's the actual security instrument that gets filed on land's record to secure lender's interest and position in property. And number 3, you want to add your private lender to the property insurance as a loss payee. That is, if anything happens, the house insurance company will pay it back loan before giving me any money. Now, home equity line of credit. This is a way to make sure you are first positioned when you are ready to pull the trigger on a property. Example, ask if prospect owns the home where they live. If yes, what is the house worth? What is any outstanding debts? Educate them on how banks love to lend up to 70 to 70% on second mortgages at cheapest rates possible. For example, appraisal value of a house is $200,000. 70% of the appraisal, which is $200,000, 70% is $140,000. The first mortgage, which equals $80,000. A bank issued home, which is equity line of credit, which will equal $60,000. You could borrow from the bank at 5% and lend to me at 10%. Now, to find private money lenders, you will want to clearly determine what you're offering, what rate of return, how long they will have to commit for, and what is the minimum amount that you'll accept. For example, a length of term may be 9 months. An annual simple interest rate should be about 10%. You want to have no monthly payments. All interest and principal is paid upon resale of property. The security instrument is the mortgage trust deed issued to the lender that is filed on land records. The lender will be added to the rehab insurance policy as a loss payee. Let's get into private money credibility pack. Number 1, you want to have information about you. Number 2, how the company was funded. Number 3, your experience. Number 4, your education. Number 5, you must demonstrate knowledge and expertise and likability. Number 6, personal company story. Number 7, testimonials. Number 8, your company leadership and team. Number 9, your mission statement. Number 10, transaction history. Number 11, company business model. Number 12, property case studies. Number 13, overall investment approach. Hard money. Now for hard money, it will take 3 to 10 days to fund. Loans are based on comparison of property value and purchase price. You want to know that loan to value ratio to measure the risk. The loan value appraised value. If you can't justify 5 points, which most of them charge, it might not be the best deal. Now here's how to do your financing request template outline. For starters, you want to organize crucial information and data on a deal to make it look professional. Number 1, your cover page. It should detail of the property and you as the borrower. 2 is an executive summary. This is a brief narrative of the financing request, property and loan specifics. Number 3 is the property description. Number 4 is the location and market information, the comparisons to support your resale. And number 5 is the financial analysis. Number 6 is about the borrower, the history, and the track record. And number 7 is the appendix of additional documents related. Seller-owner financing, my favorite. Now, this is borrowing money from the seller instead of the bank. What you will do is make monthly payments to the owner. This is for the seller to be able to carry the first mortgage and for the owner property free and clear. Owners have to have no mortgage, remain in 100% equity position. If the seller is motivated and he has significant equity in the house, offer the full market price for the house. If they agree to 100% of the full purchase price, sell them on the fact that you'll be rehabbing and selling the property within 12 months. So they won't have to wait long for a full payoff. The pros to this is that there's zero money down as a possibility. The seller can unload the house. There's limited tax liability by taking sale proceeds and payments over a period of time. And the cons of this is that there may be a savvy seller that may try to sell the house for more than what it's worth. Also, something may be wrong with the house, and they may use this to cover up by using no inspector. Some sellers also may want large down payments. Subject to financing. Now, this is buying subject to existing mortgage already in place. The original terms are kept in as it is, including the name. Difference is I make payments of original seller until I decide the exit strategy. These are examples of foreclosure, illness, divorce, job change, someone behind on payments, old age, urgent need to cash, inheritance, owner doesn't want hassle, probate, sudden need to move, tired of dealing with renters, live in another part of the country, or due on sale clause. This is a performance that is not called. The pros to this is that you own the house, but it's not on your credit report. You do not have to have good credit. You provide monthly flow and equity. No limit when the loan is in another name. The cons, it must be committed to payments. You must check if there's a prepayment penalty. Self-directed IRA, the solo 401k. The pro to this is that profits made through real estate investments that go back into retirement are tax deferred. This method enables you to enjoy the benefits of accumulating retail income within your retirement account when you purchase, buy, and hold properties. Safer and more tangible ways of investing retirement funds than mutual funds or stocks. You can diversify your retirement portfolio in a variety of assets such as condos, raw land, and commercial property. The cons. Now, the IRS is prohibiting you from buying real estate for yourself. if it is going to be owner occupied. So you cannot buy your personal property through your IRA. This holds true for spouse, children, and other relatives. Significant IRS restrictions on certain type of real estate transactions. Another con is that any money earned from renting or selling the property must be placed directly into the IRA used to pay for it. Wrap-around mortgages. This is for sellers who agree to finance the seller of the property. This incorporates their existing financing by wrapping around the current debt owed with the financing provided to the buyer. This loan is often used when an existing mortgage cannot be paid off. This is for the eligible borrower to obtain financing from a second lender or seller. The new lender assumes payment of existing mortgage and then provide the borrower with a new, larger loan on the original loan. That is usually at a higher interest rate. The borrower will make payments to the new lender on a larger loan, and the new lender will make payments on the original loan. This is because they can leverage a lower interest rate on existing mortgages into higher yield for themselves. Usually, the lender is the seller. The pros, they do not have to deal with the bank. Another pro is that credit or income does not come into play. Also, no mortgage or originator avoids closing costs. Cons. Buyer and seller must depend on each other. Both lose if damage, foreclosure, tax selling. Due on sale clause is not how much money you have, but how much education you have to leverage other people's money to fund your next deal. All right, writing and making offers. MAO, that is the maximum allowed offer, the highest I can offer. Your MAO is the ARV times 70%. Number one, to calculate the ARV, which is the average price on recent and supportive comps. Number two, multiply 1 by 0.7. Number three, subtract repairs, account for closing costs at 5%, a profit error margin of 25%. Find seller needs. Research the seller. You want to uncover hot buttons. Be a problem solver. Be an active listener. For example, if repairs equal $30,000 and they want $140,000, negotiate down to $110,000. How to find out the problem. You want to ask, why are you selling? You want to also ask, when do you need to close? Where are you going to go next? Have you made an offer on another home? Have you missed any mortgage payments? What's the deadline for moving kids into the new school district? Why call me instead of a realtor or for sale by owner? You also want to explain how you can help. What can you offer? For an example, a sell as is, a flexible calling and move out date, a storage cost, a rent on interim storage, or accommodations. You want to help them with their move or schedule a moving truck. Assist in relocation, assist with debt negotiations. You are a client for life. After you establish credit, I can help you buy another home. This is how you handle objections correctly. Number one, recognize the objection. Repeat back to the seller. Follow with a statement. For example, question, I'm concerned we won't be able to close on my timeline. An answer will be, I understand your concern. However, we stick to our timeline on all our closing. Another question, I am sad to sell this house and want to make sure it's rehabbed properly. An answer, I totally hear you. Every rehab we take on is with the highest quality team and material. Number two, acknowledge objection validity and validate concerns and compliment person. You bring up a very good point. Let's take some time to address that. That's a very good question. In fact, it's the most common question I have received. Have a supportive answer. Don't argue rebuttal. Contract. These are how contracts are done. Part one is all parties involved. You want to record vital information of parties involved. Fill in your information, but fill in the sellers ahead of time, since you want to get it from the sellers directly to ensure it's correct. Two, ask for the seller's information, the seller's name, the seller's address, the seller's social security number if it's optional, and the buyer's name or entity. You may close as an LLC trust or may bring in a money partner for the transaction. So you will need the buyer's social security number. Part two of the contract is a description of the real estate. You will need the address, the city, the property description. Part three, that is the sales price. Part four, that is the purchase price. That is the closing date. Give 2 weeks to close. Tell the seller we will be closing as soon as possible. Title issue or other attorney requests may hold up closing. It's company's policy to put down a date at least 2 weeks away.